The story begins with Alhaji Kazim, a successful Nigerian billionaire who made his fortune in the car dealership business. He is respected, admired, and feared by many. His car dealership empire, Kazim Autos, had flourished over the past decade, making him one of the weirdest men in Nigeria. Kazim had always been ambitious. From his humble beginnings as a mechanic in Oshodi, he had quickly learned the ropes of the auto industry. By his early 30s, he had set up his first car lot. What started as a small dealership had in time expanded into a national chain with outlets in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt and beyond. Kazim was known not only for his business acumen, but also for his ruthlessness. He believes firmly in traditional values and asked his wife Zainab to remain a housewife, thinking it is unnecessary for her to work since he can provide everything they need. Zainab loved Kazim deeply and appreciated the life he had given her, but there was something missing, a part of herself she had not yet realized. She had never voiced these feelings aloud, not to Kazim, not even to herself fully. But as the days passed, the unease grew. Later that evening, as Zainab lay in bed, she couldn't sleep. A thought raced with ideas and feelings she couldn't quite put into words. What was it that she wanted? She had all the weight and comfort any woman could ask for, yet something inside her yearned for more. The following morning, Zainab received a call from her childhood friend Fatima. They had been close since their days at secondary school, but life had taken them down different paths. While Zainab had settled into a role as Kazim's wife, Fatima had built a thriving business as a wedding planner. "Z, you sound distracted," Fatima said, as they caught up over the phone. "Is everything all right?" Zainab hesitated for a moment, unsure whether she could confide in Fatima. But eventually the words came out. "I don't know, Fatima. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing something. I love Kazim and my family, but I want to do more. I don't know how to explain it." Fatima laughed softly on the other end of the line. "Ha, Z, you are not alone in the feeling that way. Many women like us have dreams, even if we don't realize it. You were always so creative back in school. Remember how you used to design dresses for us to wear those days for parties?" Zainab smiled at the memory. She had always loved fashion back in the day. She would spend hours sketching designs and imagine herself as a famous fashion designer, but those dreams had faded over time, lost in the day-to-day responsibility of being Zainab Kazim's wife. "I remember," Zainab said wistfully, "but that was so long ago." "Why don't you start again?" Fatima suggested. "There's a sewing academy not far from you, Madam Zupe Fashion School. You could take a few classes just for fun." "You don't have to tell Kazim if you're worried about how he will react." Zainab had to raise at the suggestion. Could she really do something like that? Could she keep a secret from her husband? The idea stayed with Zainab over the next few days, haunting her every quiet moment. Fatima was echoing in her mind. "You don't have to tell Kazim." But could she really keep such big secret? Kazim was a traditional man, and while he had always been kind to her, he held certain beliefs about the roles of men and women in marriage. Zainab knew that he wouldn't be pleased if he found out she was pursuing something outside of their duties as his wife. But despite her doubt, the pull of her old passion was too strong to resist. One day, while Kazim was out on business, Zainab made a decision. She called the fashion school and signed up for classes under the name Z. Not wanting to draw attention to herself, she would go in a secret, she told herself. This was something she was doing for her own happiness, her own fulfillment. The first day of class felt like stepping into a dream. Madam Dupe, the owner of the academy, was a tall, elegant woman in her 50s who carried herself with the grace of someone who had seen and survived many challenges. She welcomed Zainab with open arms, without asking too much questions about why a woman of her status would be interested in sewing classes. "This is a place for growth," Madam Dupe said with a knowing smile. You will learn to make beautiful things here. Zainab felt her nerves settled. The hum of sewing machines filled the room. The smell of fabrics and threading soothed her anxious heart. She quickly realized she was not the only woman in the class with a story to hide. There were others like her, women with dreams and secrets, seeking to carve out something for themselves in a world that often told them they shouldn't. And so Zainab's double life began. She would leave the house twice a week, telling Kazim she was visiting relatives or running errands. In reality, she was at the academy learning to sew, designing her own dresses, and slowly building a network of women who admired her work. Zainab's skills quickly improved. She had a natural eye for design, and her fingers moved with increasing speed and precision over the fabrics. Her classmates admired her work, and soon word began to spread. One by one, friends and relatives began asking Zainab to make clothes for them, first for small gatherings and family events, and then for larger occasions like wedding and naming ceremonies. As her confidence grew, so did her ambitions. With the money she was quickly earning from her dressmaking, she began planning something bigger for her own fashion academy. She dreamed of a place where women could come to learn, to grow, and to find independence through the art of fashion. But all of them did she kept hidden from Kazim. She wasn't ready to face his questions, his disappointment, or his anger. He was a proud man, and Zainab knew that telling him the truth would challenge everything he believed about their roles in the marriage. And so Zainab continued her secret work, carefully balancing and growing her business with her duties as Kazim's wife. Months passed, and Zainab's sewing academy quietly blossomed behind the scenes. She had hired two assistants to help her with orders, and though the business was still relatively small, its reputation was growing. Clients loved her intricate designs, her attentions to details, and the way she personalized each piece to fit the customer's unique styles. But as her business grew, so did the tension between Zainab and Kazim. Though he was still unaware of her secret, Zainab's time away from home became more noticeable. She often returned late in the evenings, and even when she was home, her mind was preoccupied with her new venture. Kazim began to sense that something was off. Zainab, he said one evening after dinner, "Why are you always so distracted these days? You used to be more present." Zainab looked up from her plate, her heart racing. She had anticipated this conversation for a long time, but now that is what is happening. She wasn't sure how to handle it. She took a deep breath and smiled, trying to stay calm. It's nothing serious, Kazim," she said lightly. "Just family matters. You know how my mother and my sisters can be. They are always calling me for one thing or the other." Kazim studied her for a moment, his sharp eyes narrowly slit. He knew Zainab well enough to sense when she was telling the truth. But he also trusted her, and that trust kept him from pressing too hard. "Well," he said, his tone softening, "don't just forget about your home. I need you here, Zainab, especially now with the things getting difficult at work." Zainab's stomach tightening at his words. She had heard about the trouble with Kazim's car's business, though he had tried to keep the worst of it from her. The economy was in a slump and the competition was fiercer than ever. Sales went down and several of his dealerships were struggling to stay afloat. Kazim had always prided himself on his ability to overcome obstacles. But this time, even he seems unsure of how to pull his business back from the brink. "I understood," Zainab said softly. "I'm here for you, Kazim, always." Kazim couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. His business continued to struggle, and with each passing day, the pressure mounted. The stress of his failing empire began to take a toll on him, both physically and emotionally. He became irritable and short-tempered, lashing out at his employees and snapping at Zainab at any slightest provocation. One evening, Kazim finally voiced his frustration. "Zainab," he said, I don't understand why you are always running off. What is it that's keeping you so busy? Zainab's heart pounded in her chest. She knew this moment would come eventually, but she wasn't ready to reveal the truth. She hesitated for a moment, choosing her words carefully. "I've been helping a friend," she said. "You remember Fatima? She started a business and she asked me to help her with some of the management." Kazim's eyes narrowed. Helping Fatima?